The Danish Deception, part 21. So a lot of the things that transpired over the next couple of days happened over text. So I have my old phone. I'll be reading a lot of the messages because it's hard to really convey everything just based on memory. So I send him a screenshot of the test transaction that I did and then the screenshot that he sent me for my mom. And I literally put them right next to each other. And I said, here's a side-by-side comparison for your reference. You've been caught red-handed, but if you want to keep lying, by all means, do your thing. And you can clearly see that you dragged it down to remove the schedule payment button. And then I had the test transaction with the schedule payment button circled. He says, I am telling you, Anyeka, I made the transfer to the account she gave me. I would have come clean right now if I had it. At this point, I think we should call off the weddings. We are not working as a team and I don't want to keep fighting over this. Your mom will get her $10K as soon as I get it back. No, let me rephrase that. We are calling it off. I'm doing my best for everyone. Now it's time to focus on my own mental health. I will stay at a hotel for a few nights. This is all too much for me. Once I get the money, we can discuss if there's a future, but the weddings are off. So at that point, I'm just, what is happening? This is just, I'm so confused. Obviously, I had just bought my wedding dress and I was planning this wedding, but the weddings weren't even like on my mind. I just knew that he was struggling with something really, really big and I wanted to know what it was. And the weddings, at this point I was like, let's cancel the weddings. I don't even care. I was more focused about his well-being and making sure he was gonna be okay. So I do another test transaction, but this time I actually loaded money into Revolut and then I sent it to myself. And so I said, FYI, this is what it looks like when you actually make a transfer in Revolut. And I did like a couple $100s, just a small amount. And I said, the lies need to stop. Aren't you tired and exhausted? Do you think I want that for you? He goes, don't worry about me. I'll go to Denmark either tonight or tomorrow. I have enough miles to book it. Then we'll figure out the business account and you'll be made whole. After that, we can figure out the next steps. So to answer your question, yes, I'm tired, but I'm more than tired. I am done. So I send him this message. You think you leaving is what I want? We don't need space. We need a relationship that's open and honest. You say you want to focus on your mental health. Keeping up with your lies and taking on the stress is destroying your mental health. You say you want to work as a team. How can we if you can't be honest with me? I'm here for the good, the bad, the ugly, but we can't work through any of this until you can give me the honest truth. So he gets back from the gym and he walks in the house. He walks past me. He walks past my best friend, goes up to the room. I follow him into the room and I go, hey, can we talk about this? He said, what is there to talk about? I told you I'm done. And I go, what does that mean? He says, I want a divorce. And at this point, I'm just stunned because never once has he mentioned leaving me or divorce or anything. So I'm shook at this point. And then he proceeds to tell me, he said, you prioritize your friends and family above me in our relationship. I've never felt like this is my home. I'm a guest in this home. My stuff is in the guest closet. And I'm like, your stuff wouldn't fit in the master closet. Like, it's fine. Like, I'm just sitting here just so confused. And he said, you only love me when there's money in my account, which is crazy because there was tons of times where there wasn't money in his account. And I'm just still trying to talk to him. So I'm like, I love you. You're the love of my life. He goes, you were the love of my life. And I feel so hurt, but I'm also like, this can't be him talking. This has to be the disease. This has to be the addiction that's talking. And so I'm still trying to communicate to him. And he's like, you know what? Don't worry. I'm going to fly back to Denmark. I'm going to get the money from the business account, make sure you're whole. And I also have received an offer to be a CEO of a company in Denmark making $1 million. And so now I'm just like, oh my gosh, he's for sure spiraling. Like, this is 100% the addiction. And it's insane because at this point I should have just been like, okay, go bye and be done with him. But I'm very much still fighting for the relationship because I don't think that there's anything crazy big that we can't navigate and come through together. So we're not making any progress in the conversation. So I leave. I go to my friend Rebecca. I said, let's go for a drive. So we take her daughter, we go to the lake, and I tell her everything. And I just break down and she's in shock because she had no idea that I was dealing with this along with most people. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't want him to leave me. And at this point, it's crazy because I had definitely thought to myself, like, what life would be like without him and almost was like mentally preparing myself for it. But I always thought it was gonna be on my terms. But the fact that he was leaving me just like put me in like this like fight or flight and I just wanted to fight for him. So while we're at the lake, he sends me a message. He says, "Are you all gone? If yes, do I have enough time to pack my suitcase?" And I go, "We drove to the lake." And I said, "I love you. We're going to figure this out. Let's take some space, but flying to Denmark is not the answer." And he says, "I have made up my mind and I'm not changing my decision. We are both exhausted. Our individual peace has been at stake for too long and we need to protect that. We tried. God knows we fought for it, but the battle is over. Let's find peace each on our own. Let me know when you're heading back. I packed the first suitcase. I might do the other tomorrow. It's a bit difficult for me as well." So after being at the lake, I go upstairs trying to talk to him, and he is just not even wanting to be within like 5 feet of me. And I'm like, let's talk about this. Like, please, like, tell me what's going on. Like, you wouldn't be spiraling like this if there wasn't something that's going on. Like, I'm your wife. Like, we can get through this. And he said, "No, I'm done with you. I'm going to leave tomorrow. I booked a flight. And I will never see you again, and I will only talk to you when it's about getting you your money." And at this point, I'm just like, what? Like, it's now been an hour and he still has not backed down from this idea that he's leaving me. So out of pure desperation, and I have never experienced this level of desperation before, I go into his work bag and I take his passport and I look at my friend Rebecca and I said, "He's not leaving. I'm gonna get to the bottom of what's really going on." And she looks at me, she goes, "Do you, girl? Like, I support you." So we go onto the patio just to get some fresh air. And I look at the doorbell camera and I see that he's left. And he had 2 big checked luggages packed and then his carry-on. And I see that he only left with his carry-on and his work bag. And so I sent him a text. I go, "Take your space tonight and remember that I love you and I'm grateful that you're my husband and I will never stop fighting for you. Good night, my love." And at this point, I'm angry, but I'm being nice because I've done so much research on addiction. And I know whenever an addict is spiraling, the worst thing you can do is fight them back. So I'm just trying to be calm and be peaceful so that he can find a space to be able to come and be honest with me. And he said, "Wrap your head around the fact that I am not your husband anymore. We are done. Today has shown me that I won't have anything to do with you other than settling my debt. After that, I can breathe again." So obviously I had a horrible night. I cried myself to sleep. The next morning I wake up and my best friend says, "Hey, I'm gonna go to my other friend's house." She had another best friend that lived in Dallas, so she was visiting the both of us. And I was more than okay with that because I didn't think this was a good environment for a child anyways. And I knew he was gonna come back to the house, and I thought that was for the best. And so I drive her to her friend's house, and my ex had messaged me like, "I'm gonna need the house until 1 to grab my things before I go to the airport." And I remember being like, "Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna drop her off at her friend's house." And he doesn't know that I'm like trying to intercept him so I can have a conversation with him. He also does not know that I have his passport. So I drop Rebecca off at her friend's house and I come back and my ETA is like 12:30. And I know he said he was gonna leave around 1. So I was like, okay, I'll have some time to intercept him. I get home and everything is gone. His bags that were packed are gone. And I don't know if anyone's ever experienced being left by a spouse without knowing, or even a partner in general, but it is the most devastating feeling in the world. And especially someone that you shared your life with, they're there one day and the next day they're gone. It is just gut-wrenching. And I honestly at that point just start screaming. And I sent him a text and I said, "I have your passport." He said, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I go, "Please come home, babe. You fight for the people you love, and I love you, and we will get through this." And he said, "This stunt literally cost me thousands of dollars. My decision is made. Remember who is fighting who." And I said, "We just need to talk through this. I know you're hurt, and I'm sorry for my part in this, but you're my husband, and we will fight through this. We're building a life here with friends and family." He said, "I am over it, but don't worry. All your troubles will go away. Now it'll just take a day longer and cost me more money. Ridiculous. I don't care anymore. I really don't." I say, "I don't believe that. You wouldn't have married me if you wanted to give up that easily." He said, "Well, okay, but I'm getting a temporary passport, so I'll be leaving, and you made sure to take my green card too. So even if I wanted to come back, that's not possible. Take care. And you think I'm giving up easy? You're delusional." I said, "I can mail it to you." And at that point, I'm freaking out because I did take his green card. So I get in the car and I said, "I can bring you your passport and I can bring you your green card. I'll go to the airport." He goes, "Don't worry, I'm on the phone with the consulate. They'll figure it out. I don't need you." And I said, "I'm on the way with the passport right now. I'll be there in 20. He said, "I'm not going to see you. Trust me." I said, "Okay, I'll turn around. But I also can leave the passport at the front desk so you don't have to see me." He goes, "Don't worry, getting issued an emergency passport. Don't you fucking leave my passport anywhere. This is the most insane situation I've ever heard of. And guys, this is my favorite text in the entire thread. Call on your friends and family. You prioritize them, now they can show up for you. And just to be very clear, I do not give a fuck if you tell everybody everything. So here I am telling everybody everything. So after that message, he says there's no coming back from this. And I text him back and I said, okay, I will accept that now. And I had reached full acceptance because the fact that he had told me that he doesn't care if I tell everybody everything means that he must really be done with this marriage. And so I reached acceptance and I'm in my car. And I remember I sent a text to my sisters and I said, my ex just left me. And I also called my best friend Neka and I told her, I said, he just left me. And I stay on the phone with her until I get home. And I get home and I just plant on the couch and I'm just hysterically crying and just completely wrecked, completely heartbroken. Like the man that I love has just left me and I'm never gonna see him again. And so obviously it took some time for my sisters to read my text and they both came over and I realized like now's the time to come clean and tell everybody what's really been going on in our lives. And so my sisters are sitting down next to me and my best friend Neka is also on the couch and I look at them and I tell them everything about the gambling, about the lies, about the money. And my little sister looks up at me and she says, well, he actually took $3,000 from me. And we will continue on in part 22.